So, the first 10 characters weren't enough for you, huh? Couldn't find your proper soulmate from the first video, could ya? Or, maybe you just wanted to keep your options open, see what the returning cast has to offer. Well, regardless, I'm back and giving you the definitive rundown of every character in Street Fighter 6. Up first is Ryu, who's here because he has to be. According to this poll, Ryu is the 9th most popular character in the Street Fighter franchise, which is pretty fucking embarrassing for the flagship character of the series. I know we're trying to push Luke here, guys, but did we really have to toss Ryu onto the second bottom row of the character roster? Other than this sick-ass beard and these eyebrows that are one color change away from going Super Saiyan, Ryu's not really showing up to this street fight with any surprises. He Hadoukens, he Shoryukens, he Tatsumaki Senpu Kakyukens, he does everything you'd expect out of him. But with a few new tricks. His first new ability is Hashogeki, which is a lot like a Hadouken if it got a little shy. His second new ability is High Blade Kick, which is just like a big kick. He also has Denjin Charge, or as I like to call it, Sad Boy Hour, in which Ryu envelops his fists with the power of nothingness to enhance moves such as the Hadouken and Hashogeki. And you know what? I get it, Ryu. You're getting a little older. You're not street fighting like you were back in your 20s anymore. You know, you're getting in your feels a little bit, I understand. Honestly, jokes aside, Ryu do be looking fresh in this game. He looks like an insane lumberjack. Young Ryu looks determined, you know? That's not anger, that's a look of determination on his face. Old Ryu's just straight up pissed. He's pissed, and it's your fault. Look, I know I sort of breezed through the Ryu section, but he's Ryu. He's like the original fighting game character. He's about as balanced of a fighter as they come, and his whole kit is centered around helping you close a distance or keep it. I love the guy, but let's not kid ourselves here. He's a nepotism baby. Every few years, Ryu bangs on Capcom's front door and goes, "Can I be in the next one?" And they say, "Sure you can, Ryu. Sure you can." I'm pretty sure that the E in E Honda stands for everyone, because that's who's catching these hands. Honda is terrifying. Because despite being 6'1" and 300 pounds, this man does not move like it. You ever see a 300-pound man come shooting towards you head first like a fucking RPG? It's fucking traumatic. Almost every character came into this game with a massive redesign, and something tells me no one was brave enough to tell Honda that pulling his loincloth up over his shoulder wasn't gonna cut it. So he's coming into this game hardly redesigned and ready to throw down. Honda's first move is 100-Hand Slap, which is a cool name, but the combo counter tells a different story. All I'm saying is the move's called 100 slaps, not a bunch of slaps. His next attack is Sumo Headbutt, which on top of putting the absolute fear of God into your opponent, also acts as Honda's main gap closer. This move comes out extremely fast and can propel Honda from all the way across the screen. What makes this move extra terrifying is the fact that it's a back-forward input, which means when Honda's moving away from you, it actually means he's about to be right in your goddamn face. His third move is Sumo Smash, which is really fast and strong, but such a bitch to do. Why are up-down inputs still a thing? Why do I have to hold down for an arbitrary amount of time before flicking up? Just make it a flick motion. I never know how long I'm supposed to hold this down for. So fuck it. That move doesn't exist anymore. Get it out of your head. It's no longer an option. E-Honda's actual third special move is Oicho Throw, which grabs your opponent and whips the camera into a cinematic angle so aggressively, it's almost kind of a jump scare. Honda also has Sumo Dash, in which he starts marching towards you like an Italian crab coming to gobble your last ghoul. Hey, I'm walking here! Pressing punch during this move causes Honda to smack the shit out of his opponent like he's their Italian uncle visiting for the weekend. What did you just say about your mother? And pressing down launches the opponent into the air. Oh, you want an allowance? Forget about it! Honda also has a move that just like claps your opponent in the face. Because why not? This move can actually be used both as an attack and to negate projectiles, which is pretty sick. And finally, Honda's last special move is Sumo Spirit, which as far as I'm concerned, doesn't do dick. Allegedly, it enhances your next 100-hand slap, but as far as I'm concerned, it actually makes it worse. Yeah, it does 50 points of extra damage, which believe me, is like no points of extra damage, but it also gives you one less slap. I'm sure it makes this move better. I'm sure Sumo Spirit does something, but the fact that the game just says enhances 100-hand slap instead of actually telling me what it does makes me feel justified in moving on. Despite me hating back-forward motions in this game, and Honda having a lot of that going on, he's still pretty fun. Between his torpedo, sumo rush, and clap that negates projectiles, he's almost a rushdown character, which is kind of cool to see in such a large character. Honda brings a ferocious fighting spirit to his playstyle, and it's hard not to feel like a powerhouse when playing him. Next up we got Blanca, who's really jamming out to this song. Now, Blanca's always had animalistic qualities about him, but this is the first time he's actually been an animal. In past games, Blanca sort of just looked like a man who was painted green. But in this game, he's like a whole-ass orc. This dude looks like a carrot smoothie turned into a werewolf. Blanca is terrifying, especially when you see him start jumping on people and tearing their faces off like he's a goddamn chimpanzee. He's also got one of the sassiest walking away animations I've ever seen, and I kinda love him for it. Ooh, I'm so scared. Here's a question. Why does Blanca have some of the hairiest chins in gaming history, but so obviously shaves his calves? I can see the stubble, Capcom, you're not fooling anybody! Blanca's first move is Electric Thunder, which envelops him in lightning and shocks the opponent if they get too close. His next attack is a Rolling Attack. And yeah, you really need any deeper explanation than that? He rolls, then attacks. You know, it doesn't really take a lot of critical thinking skills to figure this guy out. The regular version of this move knocks Blanca away from the opponent, but the overdrive version gives you a chance to land a follow-up attack. Blanca also has vertical rolling attack, I think you get the idea, and backstep rolling attack, which is great for dodging moves and confusing your opponent. Wild Hunt is a completely uncalled for attack, where Blanca dives onto the opponent and fucking mauls them. Blanca has like 6 silly, goofy attacks ripped straight out of a cartoon, and then like 2 grabs that threaten to turn this into a rated M game. Alright, so what should we do for our kooky werewolf character? Now remember, this is a T-rated game with a cartoonish art style, so we want to keep things light. How about like a bouncy ball attack, where he curls up into a ball and like flies at the opponent? Ooh, I like that, that's good. How about a move where he like eats your goddamn face off? No, I think we're gonna try and keep things light. What about a move where he like claws the skin off of your skull? Like all the skin? No, why would we do that? Come on, he's a monster. What, you want him to carry around a soft little doll that bounces around and fights people with him? Hey, that's not a bad— Blanca-chan bomb is a fucking weird addition to Blanca's character, but it's in the game, so I guess we gotta talk about it. Blanca has 3 pieces of self-produced merchandise that he can toss out during the match. Blanca has to hit them with an electric attack in order to activate them, and then they'll seek out the opponent and explode on impact. Finally, Blanca has a super art called Lightning Beast, which when activated, allows him to follow up all rolling-based attacks with up to 3 additional ones. Despite his wildly out-of-control persona, Blanca's a character who has complete control of the battlefield. Between his multiple rolling attacks, Blanca bomb, and powerful command grab, Blanca's a major threat no matter where your opponent's standing. Up next we got Guile, who really hasn't been sleeping well. Guile looks like the stump of a tree somebody just cut down. He looks like a root vegetable you'd pull out of the ground from his hair. I bet when they ask Guile what kind of haircut he wants, he pulls out his wallet and shows a barber a picture of a coffee table. I guess the joke is that Guile has a crew cut that he let grow out to insane lengths, and if that's the joke, I do love it. He's also sporting what looks to be a hoodie under his denim jumpsuit, which has sleeves rolled up so tightly they look like they're about to pop his shoulders out of their sockets. It's a pretty dope look, but I am constantly worried they're gonna have to surgically remove Guile from his outfit when the match is over. Here's a secret about Guile though. I fucking hate him. Get ready to see some of the worst gameplay footage on my entire channel as I struggle to get Guile to even attempt to attack my opponent. I recorded like 5 matches with Guile for this segment, and I win almost none of them. Danny, why don't you just Sonic Boom? I'm trying to Sonic Boom. I didn't have this much trouble doing Honda's attacks, but for some reason, Guile just doesn't want to work with me. Oh, sounds like Danny just sucks with charge characters. I do suck with charge characters, because charge characters suck. Guile's first attack is Sonic Boom, which fires a projectile at the opponent. Get used to hearing me say that, because it's pretty much all he does. Pressing forward just before pressing the punch button fires a regular Sonic Boom, but pressing forward and a punch button simultaneously allows him to perform a perfect Sonic Boom, which is something I swear I've done before. I was doing perfect sonic booms like 90% of the time when I was writing this script. Now all of a sudden, Guile has stage fright and doesn't want to do them. Look, you can even see me getting pissed off and throwing a tantrum here. There! That's it! That's a perfect sonic boom! It does an unnoticeable amount of extra damage, and really isn't worth the aneurysm it took me to get that footage. I don't know why there are two nearly identical versions of this move. Maybe Capcom wants to make a rhythm game. Somersault Kick is Guile's anti-air and is invincible against all jumping attacks. Sonic Blade places a stationary aerial slash in front of you, leaving a sort of temporary trap for the opponent. You can follow this up with a Sonic Boom to fire Sonic Blade as a projectile, dealing the damage equivalent of nearly 2 Sonic Booms. Finally, Guile has a super art called Solid Puncher, which charges up his fists and lets him go fucking bananas on his opponent. This move feels like it was given to Guile in direct response to my temper tantrum, and leads me to believe that Capcom knows just how fucking frustrating this guy is. Oh, you want a Sonic Boom? Take 'em! Take 'em all! Guile sucks and I hate him. He might as well be a Pokemon that only knows the move Razor Leaf, because that's sort of what it feels like to play him. It feels like he's actively fighting against you. His legs are so long and stiff, and they never really move the way you want them to. He feels like a wooden doll that hasn't been broken in yet, which sucks, because I do like Guile. I like his aesthetic. I like his hair. I like this weird fucking kick he does. It's like the coolest move in the game. But I just hate playing him. Pick up Guile if you've already tried everybody else. Up next is Ken, sporting a haircut only a mop could love. Who divorced Ken between Street Fighter 5 and 6? In 5, he had this awesome surfer vibe going on, with his cool skin-tight shirt and tasteful man bun. Now he looks like an alcoholic stepdad who drives a Ford pickup for a living. Who let you show up to a street fight wearing a leather coat, sweatpants, and a pair of Timbs? He looks like he just rolled out of bed in the middle of the night to go shovel snow out of his driveway. Either that, or he fell asleep drunk and then woke up and was like, I gotta go fight in the street. Now, a lot of people like to say that Ken is just a clone of Ryu, but honestly, I think it's the other way around. Sure, Ken's first 3 special moves are the same as Ryu's, but whose names are at the end of those? Hadouken! Shoryuken! Tatsumaki Senpu! Well, it's still pretty suspicious, Ryu. But even though Ken and Ryu share a lot of the same moves, that doesn't mean Ken isn't putting his own spin on them. And by spin, I mostly mean lighting them on fire. See, Ken has a unique attack called Quick Dash, which allows him to sprint forward and change the properties of a lot of his special moves. For example, Shoryuken gains a ton of damage when used with Quick Dash, as does Tatsumaki. I don't know why this isn't considered a special move, but whatever. Pressing Light Kick at the end of Quick Dash stops the move, pressing Medium Kick delivers an overhead, and pressing Heavy Kick delivers a long-reaching forward kick. Now back to his actual special moves. Dragon Lash Kick is a far-reaching roundhouse that can be used to close the distance with your opponent, or to extend combos. Using this move with Quick Dash lowers the damage, but makes the move a little more aggressive, considering you're sprinting towards the opponent before doing it. Jinrai Kick is a roundhouse that can be followed up with any of the kick buttons. Light Kick follows up with a low, Medium Kick follows up with an overhead, and Heavy Kick follows up with another roundhouse that can be used to combo from Jinrai Kick. Finally, Ken can extend any of these kicks by using their overdrive version, which can lay a ton of pressure on a blocking opponent, or be used to extend your damage. Ken is extremely aggressive, which is probably what got him the divorce in the first place. But personally, I love him for it. He's a brawler, sort of like Luke, except with a bit of a harder edge to him. I don't know the extent of Ken's lore, but his moveset tells a story, that of a disgraced martial artist. Half of his attacks are sacred martial arts techniques, and the other half are moves he picked up brawling in the streets. So instead of feeling like a clone of Ryu, he feels like a parallel of him. A Ryu who's abandoned his training for something more brutal, something more improvisational. And though his wife may have taken his money, his kids, and seemingly his house, what she didn't take was Ken's fighting spirit. Next is Chun Li, who also isn't fucking awake. Jesus, how old are you guys? Chun Li is looking absolutely fucking iconic in her redesign, ditching her usual puffy shoulders in favor of a more traditional porcelain vase aesthetic. Now, many people don't know this, but toning down Chun Li's puffy sleeves actually saved Capcom an incredible amount of time, money, and manpower. and allowed them to allocate those resources towards giving Chun Li the single meatiest pair of thighs in gaming history. Chun Li's thighs are so thick, she could almost fit her entire torso in one of them. She's so thick that her body looks structurally unsound. It looks like her upper body is one tremor away from sinking into her hips. Chun-Li's first attack is... Actually, wait, one more. If you were stranded in the Arctic, you could cut one of Chun-Li's thighs open and live inside of it for warmth, like it's a goddamn tauntaun, and have a comfortable amount of legroom. Anyway, Chun-Li's first attack is Kikoken, which is a slow-moving projectile that changes distance and speed depending on the button you press. Using Light Punch results in a slow, long-range Kikoken, while Heavy Punch shoots a fast, shorter-ranged one. 100 Lightning Kicks does exactly what it says, except no it doesn't. This shit actually hits less than 100 Hand Slap. I don't know what personal trainer Chun-Li and Honda are going to, but he's lying to them. Call it 4 lightning kicks if that's how many times you're gonna hit somebody. 4 is still an impressive amount of kicks. The overdrive version of this move can be extended by pressing any kick button, bringing the number of kicks up to a whopping... oh, whatever. Spinning Bird Kick does tons of damage and actually kicks more times than, you know what? I'm not even getting into it. This move allows Chun-Li to cover a ton of distance while also turning her into the world's most lethal NutriBullet. Hazanshu is an unbelievably fast move that closes a good amount of distance. It also has the added benefit of scaring the shit out of your opponent as you come barreling towards them like a ghost straight out of The Conjuring. It looks like Chun-Li throws every limb out of its socket while doing this move before snapping them all back into place when it lands. And finally, Tensho Kicks acts as Chun-Li's anti-air. Chun-Li embodies grace with every action she takes. She feels weightless, from her 100-ish lightning kicks to whipping across the screen like she's Monkey D. Luffy. Choose Chun-Li if you want to show your opponent the superiority that comes from years of dedication, tradition, and a great leg day routine. Zangief is 7 feet tall and 400 pounds. That is the weight of 2 DJs at the same height. Even the orc doesn't weigh that much. Zangief doesn't just break the scale, he is the scale. This man is my new benchmark for which I use to measure weight. Hey man, do you mind coming over and helping me move a couch? I don't know, how heavy is it? Oh, it's not too bad, it's only like a quarter Zangief. Zangief is so fucking intense that he spends half of the match sweating, and the other half converting that sweat into steam. Your opponent's life flashes before their eyes every time Zangief whiffs a move, and they see the steam sizzle off of his back. It leaves your opponent just like, Jesus Christ, his sweat didn't even survive that grab. What the fuck was he gonna do to me? Zangief's first attack is Double Lariat, and even though it does a decent amount of damage, negates projectiles, and acts as a great anti-air, it's the only move in Zangief's arsenal that doesn't delete a third of your opponent's health, so it might as well be a taunt. Screw Pile Driver? More like screw your fucking health bar. It's a grab. Borscht Dynamite. Grab. Russian Suplex. Grab. Siberian Express. Grab. Tundra Storm. The opponent looks at you and goes, what are you, some kind of crab? And Zangief goes, nope, I'm a grab. Zangief grabs. What more do you want from me? What? You want me to get into the metrics and data of all of his moves? Fuck you, get bent. Also, final note, Zangief has the funniest line in the game, and I love him for it.
Time to get serious! Are you serious?
Finally, we have Dulcim, who's just playing a different game than everybody else. Oh, thanks. Nice of you to uncoil for us, you fucking demon. Oh, no, please, don't stop being a bee's nest on my behalf. Out of all the returning characters, Dulcim definitely ended up with the coolest redesign. Yeah, Ryu's is badass. Ryu was always sort of a badass. Dulcim looks like he could fuck you up just by looking at you, which is extra intimidating considering he's blind. You're also just never safe from this guy. You could be sitting at a family dinner in Ohio and still get a roundhouse kick to the back of the head just because Dulcim felt like stretching his legs for a walk. Try to run away? Roundhouse. Try to jump? I'm there too. Try to move to a different town. Bitch, I hope you wanted a roommate. But before you start thinking that Dulcim is overpowered, let me assure you, he does have his weaknesses. The main one being a fucking gust of wind. When Dulcim gets in the air, good luck getting him down. His weird floatiness is definitely a fun mechanic that serves to mess up your opponent's rhythm, but it also turns every accidental jump into a death sentence, as you pray your opponent will just sit there and patiently wait for you to land like a good little level 4 CPU. Oh yeah, by the way, Dhalsim is also a fire type, which means his first move is Yoga Fire, which is a slow-moving projectile that can be charged for more damage. His next move is Yoga Arch, which is like the same thing, but vertical. Yoga Flame has Dhalsim channel the peaceful art of yoga to burn your opponent alive. Yoga Blast is the same thing, but vertical. This is a good move to stop your opponent's aerial attacks as well. Yoga Comet shoots a fireball downwards while in the air. Yoga Float puts your ass in the air and keeps it there, which again is a great way to add some unpredictability to your playstyle and keep your opponent guessing. And finally, Yoga Teleport does exactly what the name implies. You fucking demon. Dhalsim is rad, and despite allegedly being an avid yoga fan, is one of the most brutal characters in the entire game. Yeah, what's that yoga move where you grab somebody by the hair and punch them in the back of the neck? And that is every Street Fighter 6 character broken down and explained. If you guys like this video, make sure you leave a like and a comment below and suggest what other games I should break down in the future. Would you like to see this same video format with League of Legends characters, Guilty Gear characters, etc.? And of course, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already so you never miss out on one of my videos. And I will see you guys next time.
Hold on to me, baby. Won't you come a little closer? Where I live for now. I wrote down what you said to me, baby, but can't make what you